Hey, welcome everybody. Beth McCarty, Victoria, Kansas, here to lead us into the Quick Start Basics class, our core class in the MLM Millionaire Academy Generic School for Network Marketers. This class teaches the 10 core commitments that are proven for decades to create success in network marketing. This is tried and true. We didn't make them up. These are proven history of success. So these are what bring the highest success. Our individual purpose here is to help people grow, to educate, equip, and empower network marketers and create independent servant leaders. Tonight our goal is to entertain and educate you, to equip and empower you to build a strong and profitable business. I'd like to welcome our new members, John Lee, who's attending his second class tonight, and Tom Gaynor, who has joined. If we don't see you here on the class, Tom, then I know that you're watching the replay, and we want to welcome you. Now, real quick, before we get started, I want to let you know what's coming up this week. On Sundays, actually, the other class within the school is a core inner circle class called the Leads class. This is for people who want to grow very, very fast in network marketing by calling leads. And yes, you have to go through a lot of them, but you will find that that moves faster than a little bit slower way. After you've been through your friends and family and their referrals, it might move you. It usually moves you faster than by meeting people in live or on social media and prospecting with them. So it's a way to make it easy to grow fast in network marketing. In fact, I could share, I'm not currently in a network marketing company. I used to be full-time, helped me raise my son as a single mom. But since then, I have been a dedicated generic coach for network marketers. I was actually in former companies, but they didn't really meet my criteria, so I didn't stay in those companies. But meanwhile, I am bringing my body-mind therapy, coaching, training back to network marketers to help them. So, however, Jeff is currently active in a company, and he and his fiancee, Brandy, have been growing their current company, and they're, just as an example of what leads can do, it was in January that their income from their network marketing business, which is a new one, was $370 a month. That's the month that they decided to really get behind it and give it their all. And a lot of times it takes a few months for that to manifest. February, their income was $290, March, $110, April, $216, but then it started kicking in. May, $9,931, June, $14,000. And that was from calling leads. Now, Jeff says this was team-based. They can't do it alone and all that. But he always uses leads to produce. And Jeff has been recognized by the company and top leaders within his company and past companies that he's built with, and he always builds with leads. So that's my little example of what the leads class can do for you. We make it simple. We tell you exactly what to say, where to find leads, what to do. So we spell it out very, very simply. You just got to put in the time and go through the leads. So that is now moved to Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. With today was pretty fun because we got to hear Jeff make appointments within 30, 45 minutes. Booked 6 appointments, I think, for tomorrow for them to go through. And his goal is to fill it up to 9, do 9 presentations. Not contacts and callings, actually 9 presentations. So just think what could happen for you and your business if you did that. Okay, so that is the leads class. And I'll put a link into the Facebook group. But I believe it's always a link in all the emails I send out as well. So you can just check out the link there if anyone is interested in investing in the business. I always look at anything you spend on this class tonight or on the leads class as an investment. If you put it into action, you're going to make dozens of times back that much more in money. And it is a tax deduction, by the way. Everything you spend on this class or that class is, I believe, check with your accountant, but I believe it's got to be tax deductible. Okay, and a little gift to the profession is the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, which we've been doing for a couple of years now. And this is at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time at the Facebook group, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. And Jeff and Brandy and I present at this time about 20-30 minutes of personal growth report from a personal growth book. And tomorrow we're starting a new one. And it's John Maxwell's The Leader's Greatest Return. This one I haven't read, so I'm looking forward to diving into it. As Jeff said, that he's gotten more out of this one than the previous whole book more out of the intro to this than the previous whole book that we just covered. So I can always count on John Maxwell to be concentrated value and personal growth. And of course, this is necessary for your success in network marketing. It's one of the 10 core commitments. So we have that. On Tuesday nights, I offer a free coaching class. I charge for it normally. It's just free for a certain limited time. But if anyone here would like to hop on that class and talk about any blocks that you're experiencing in your business or in your life, it could be relationships, could be health, spirituality, anything like that, that can all interfere and affect your network marketing business. So you can hop on that call, and for a limited time, I'm making it sort of a gift to everyone at this difficult time to get coached on these issues. Or you can just come on and learn my coaching system that helps you solve any problem in minutes, any problem. Move from problem to success in minutes. I call it Real Conversations. So the MLM Millionaire Academy, we're raising the standard in this industry, in this profession. We show individuals how to succeed by developing the correct skills and mindset. We're the lighthouse for the frustrated, the discouraged, the hungry, and we have the tools, and we have the mindset to do it. This is what some people are saying. They light back here. Get light back again. Liz Dickerson says, I signed up a new rep. They advanced me to promoter. They're going to give me an honorable mention, and I attribute it to the class. It helped. It was just huge for me. Thanks so much for all your encouragement and giving me more confidence. So it's just one of the things people are saying. So what you learn in this class is the easiest way to prospect and recruit, how to always get a yes. When prospecting, eliminate objections, never run out of people to talk with. Easiest way to get top earner recruits, make more part-time from home than you do at your full-time job. How to know when to quit your job, how to bulletproof your business, how to get started right, which we're covering tonight. The 5 laws of duplication, how to motivate your team to self-sufficiency, get your business running without you, how to prevent attrition, how to overcome fear and procrastination, how to fill events. We recommend you stay in this class until you can get so good at it, you teach it to your team. When you have attended, keep track, because it's always good to track everything in network marketing, right? When you have attended all 10 of these 10 core or their replays, message Jeff and say, I need a level 1 certificate. If you've done it twice, say I need level 2 or 3 or 4, etc. And he will post one of these in the Facebook group or get it to you if you're not on Facebook. And we have people here working on 7 and 8 right now, so congratulations to them. Jeff and I, sometimes people want a little more than they're getting in this class, a little more help, and that's when they hire us as private coaches, so that's available as well. Grab a pen and paper because these go really fast. We're going to be covering a lot in every class. This is recorded, of course. And after 90 minutes, we are going to open it up to you. We're going to want to hear your best takeaway from tonight. So we're going to go around and ask you. So if you have something that stood out for you, just your favorite one is good for us. It helps us to know you and helps us to summarize what we just covered tonight. So we're going to hear your takeaway. Then we're going to open up to questions. And so we'll have a Q&A after that. So I think we're ready to begin on the core number 1. Just stepped out for a sec. He'll be right back. This class, of course, is generic. We don't mention companies here or recruit each other. But this is for all levels, beginning, intermediate, and experts. So over to you, Jeff, for core number 1.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, so we're going to get into this, getting going. So the 10 core was basically built out of trial and error more than anything. I did not create it. I learned it from several people, actually, one of which was, to date, one of the #1 network marketers of all times. We've mentioned this before, over $450 million in personal commissions. That was just his commissions to himself and his family. He's since passed away, but I was able to get kind of the Getting Started Right program. Actually, the first core actually came from this guy, or a version of it about getting started right. And it's worked in every company I've been in. It's worked with every part of the technology that's come out. I found it, he developed it, I think, in the 70s, but it still works today, which is pretty solid. I mean, something that is timeless. Principles don't really change. Technology, maybe the way of introduction changes, but the principles never change. That's how you know the principles. As John Maxwell would say, the laws. What are the laws of the business? There's certain laws of the business that you have to obey if you expect it to grow and you want it to work for you. From there, I learned from another guy, and the idea of 10 things you have to do. The idea behind that was, here are the 10 things you have to do to be able to build a business locally, to be able to build a business in your city or town, to be able to build a business that goes from your city or town across your state or across the states or across the country or provinces, and even outside the country. Like, how do you build a worldwide organization? What are the things you have to do? And what it really boils down to is creating tools and events where people can drive traffic into tools and events and learn a simple process, and that's how everybody kind of stays together, is the glue. From there, what are the 10 things? I mean, that's what people are like, what are these 10 things I have to know? And what I was taught very early on is these 10 things that you have to know are really easy. Like, they seem like too simple. They're like, oh, well, yeah, anybody can do this. But it's not just easy to do. The problem is it's very easy not to do. I think a lot of times we discount the things that are so easy to do, but they're discipline-wise, they're difficult to stay on task, and that's really what we're going to talk about. So what are the 10? Getting started right is the first one, and we're going to get into depth on that here in a second. The second one is, make some commitments. You have to know what to commit to. A lot of people don't know what to commit to. A lot of people are committed to their favorite TV show. They wouldn't miss their favorite TV show. I mean, somebody could get into an accident. So, the car could break down. They are going to get to the television set to watch their favorite show. You're like, hey, I'm sick. I've got, this, and this going on. Nope, got to watch my show. And we all know people like this. They would probably skip out on a hospital visit to watch their show. They have surgery. They're like, not until the last episode's over. I'm sorry, I can't go. People will always do what they want to do. Not what they have to do, not what they should do, but people always do what they want to do. And it's one thing to keep in mind. So you have to know what to commit to. The third is personal development. Personal development is really the glue that keeps the organization together. The fourth is you have to learn how to market. We say learn how to market daily. Now, why do you have to market daily? Because all big companies, all successful companies market every single day. Actually, they market multiple times a day. Always putting the message out there. Question is, what message are you putting out there? The fifth is present daily. Now, some people are like, well, I was taught not to present, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But some people are taught never to say anything, never to present, never to talk. And I think more and more companies are learning that's absolutely incorrect. We'll talk about why that is. Then you have what I call the stick and stay, the stay-in part, which is attend a weekly open house. Number 6, attend a weekly training, which you're on now. So that, kind of speaking to the choir here. Attend a monthly regional event. Attend a convention. is number 9. And number 10 is a map, a massive action plan. Like, what should you be doing on a regular basis? That's where goal setting comes in. So once you know the things to do, then you have to figure out, well, how much of it should I do? Which is kind of where the commitment, what do you commit to and how long do you commit to it and how long is it going to take me to get there? And that's when everybody asks me, well, how long does it take to get to $10,000 a month? How long does it take to get to $2,000 a month? How long does it take to get to some of these levels in my company? And that, that goes down to the individual of figuring out what does it take. Getting started right, I was taught, is basically you need to get to a point where you get paid and you get promoted. That's really where it breaks down. I like to say break even. Every company's a little bit differently when it comes to break even, but break even is a very important number to know in getting started right. So let's go back to this guy that I learned this from, who built an organization. I don't know exactly. I know his organization totaled over 2 million people worldwide. I know that he had a single leg of the business at one point that was like 1.4 million people, which that's a pretty solid leg, right? I mean, when you realize that 400,000 people could quit the business and you still have 1 million people in that network buying, you're doing okay. Like, you're not really worried. If you're earning $1 million, he earned $1 million a month from 1980 until he passed. So that just kind of puts it in perspective. If $1 million came in every month, you could take care of stuff. So my point to this is, he recruited 50 people frontline wide, and 25 of the legs became millionaires. So this is a guy who knows how to do it. So when people are like, oh, why do you listen to that guy? Why do you believe that? Here's why. I haven't met a more successful networker in anything. Not to mention, the guy also owned a ton of other traditional businesses and was successful inside network marketing and outside network marketing. And that's what I find is kind of rare sometimes, is to find somebody that's successful on both sides. Some people are very good inside of network marketing, but they cannot do anything outside. I like the fact that he had balance in his life. So one of the things that he has to commit to, he goes, look, when you're going to get started right, the number one thing is, you're going to have to define your dream. You're going to have to know what you want. Think and Grow Rich talks about this. What do you want? The more crystal clear you know what you want, the more you know why you want it, you'll figure out how. Why do you want it? Now, Think and Grow Rich kind of narrows it down and basically says you need to come up with a number that you're looking for. They talked about a specific dollar amount. I think a specific dollar amount's okay, but at first, don't you just need to learn how the business works? So many people come in to network marketing so arrogant and so full of themselves and so full of ego that they fail to realize that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, that there's probably more to it. Just think about that. There has to be more to it than just somebody who's good at talking to people. There has to be more to it. Oh, well, if you're good at talking to people, I'm going to be able to knock this out. I was like, oh, okay. And I think most of us who did come in with maybe some arrogance, like, I thought I knew who was going to do it. I don't know what you thought when you first got in. Like, I saw the business, and I was like, I absolutely, positively know who's going to do this. And I wrote them down, and I was like, okay, you need 6 to 8 people. I know the 6 right off the bat. I know these guys. And what I was doing is I was picking out people who I felt were successful, who I felt had influence. Because they had influence over me, I thought these are the right people. If these people get in, this is what I thought. I don't have to do anything. Now think about that from a business perspective. Would you want to get in business with somebody who wants you to do all the work and they can sit back and earn everything? And the answer is no. That person sometimes won't even listen to you. A lot of times won't even listen to you. They won't give you the time of day. So what I did is I went out and beat my head against the wall for a long time. Eventually what I learned is there's an easier way to do it. There's a simpler way to do it. And if I would just follow some directions. But here's the thing. Every time I got onto another call and every time I went to another meeting, there was another person there telling me another way to do it. And I was like, how many ways to do it are there? And people had success, different success. And what I mean by different success is some people came in with a ton of credibility and some people came in with no credibility. One guy sat at McDonald's all day and talked to people. The other guy just called through his database that he had already built in real estate. And I was like, what are the common denominators here, and how can we put something together and teach something where everybody can do it? Because if we had a program that was so easy that everybody could do it, no matter what your background was, no matter what your age was, no matter what your education was, no matter if you came from a big city or a small city, you know, if you came from a silver spoon or a wooden spoon, if it didn't matter, if we had that kind of a program, then anybody could succeed if they went out and what? Did the work. Now, some people are going to have to work. Here's the thing. Some of us have less going for us when we join, so it's going to take a lot more work. Even though the process is the same, some of us are going to have to do a heck of a lot more work to get to the exact same point. Now, that can either upset you or excite you. The exciting thing is everybody has the same opportunity here, but everybody has a different starting point because of life. You know, certain people have just been through things and maybe have paid their dues before they got here, right? They've paid their dues on the phone. They've paid their dues in personal development. They've paid their dues in influence before they got to network marketing. Therefore, when they get in network marketing, this was easy for them. They were able to just take off. And if you're at enough seminars and at enough meetings, all of us have seen that couple that gets in, and it seems like they've been in for 13 minutes. They talked to 64 people. 72 signed up out of the 64. You're like, how is that even possible? Like, more people got in than they even started. And it just seemed like they moved through every level of the comp plan, like no problem, no effort. And now all of a sudden, here they are, and they're successful. Everybody starts at a different point, but there were certain basics. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know why you're doing it. The second thing is the commitment part. You got to commit to get going. Most people, what they do is they get in, and then they try to figure it out. And they sit around, you know, they'll look at things. And out of 10 people who get in, I don't know if you know these numbers, but out of 10 people who get in, one person you'll never hear from again, like absolutely vanishes. 3 won't really ever return your call again. I mean, they might answer for like, hey, the holidays or something, but they won't talk business ever again. Out of 10. So we already have 4 that are just like MIA, missing in action, they're done, gone. Another 3 will participate for a minute or 2, meaning they might show up, but they're never actually going to get going. They'll even buy a product. Amazing. You know that people get in and they never buy product, right? Or they kind of join but don't engage. Like, there are people who do that. Lots of people. Tons of people. But about out of 3 will actually show up. 1 will actually maybe do something. Maybe. It's not a guarantee. But out of 10, those are usually the numbers. 1 vanishes. 3 you'll never get a hold of, really. 3 will participate for a second. They'll kind of look around. They won't show up, but they'll act interested. 3 will definitely say they're interested, answer the phone, be your friend, everything like that. But 1 will actually might do something. They'll talk to somebody. I mean, amazing. They'll actually talk to somebody. And people are like, well, that's terrible. No, it's not. It's just how it works. So what I was taught to do is, after you have your dream and you know what you want, and after you know kind of what we're going to commit to get going, what do you need to commit to get going? You have to commit to a contacting process. Like, how are you going to get the information in front of people is basically how it's going to work. Because you have to show them something, right? Now, some people lead with the product, and this isn't a product. This is actually colloidal silver, so it's not. I mean, it is a product, but it's not a product in network marketing, is what I'm saying. But I was using an example. Is some people lead with the product, and other people lead with the opportunity. And everybody says, well, which one's right? In general, and this is a total generality, from what I've seen, the people who have built the largest and have the biggest teams, have the most money, and have the longest success in the business, all of them have built with the opportunity. All of them. Like, almost without fail. Now, I've been around a lot of these people who launched these companies, and here's what they'll say. From the front of the room. So there's a I mean, it's sales, guys, right? So there's a level of, you know, is it double talk? Is it trickery? What is it? But from the front of the room, when they're in a meeting, they're like, guys, this is the easiest thing in the world. All you have to do is introduce this new XYZ product. And I say XYZ because it's not a real product. I'm just making it up. This XYZ product, And, and they say all the good things about it. It, cleans out your pipes and, makes you see better and your dog barks louder and, your groceries, show up faster and your produce doesn't mold as fast. I mean, just weird claims sometimes. Don't make weird claims, by the way. I'm doing it for theatrics here and just, listening. But they say all these great things and they say, all you have to do, you don't have to mention the business at all. It's not about the business, it's about the product. That same guy that says that in front of a room, I've heard after the meeting call somebody he knows. Be like, man, I know that, I've been in the industry for a while. I have absolutely found like a business that's going to take off. And you know that I made X number of dollars in the last company. But I can tell you, I didn't switch. I didn't get into something new. I didn't start this to make the same money I was making. The only reason I would switch is to make 2 times, 5 times, 10 times as much. And it's just getting going. It's just taking off. We've got some phenomenal people who are already here. And I just want to know, are you open to hearing about it? That's the same guy that 40 minutes before was on stage saying you never have to talk about the business. But here he is after the fact, leading with the business, leading with the money, leading with the success, leading with the expectation of what's going to happen or what could happen. Why is that? It's just the way it is. The sales techniques, and here's the easiest way, the sales techniques from the front of the room and the sales techniques from the calls and the sales techniques from the videos are built to get you in. They're built to get you to sign up. They're built to get you to sign up. And most of us have fallen for it. And you're like, I thought this was about how to do this. It is, but I'm just trying to get your mindset right for what's actually happened up till now and the stuff that you're hearing and the jumble of information. And what I mean by the jumble of information is, doesn't it seem like sometimes in this business there's a lot of double talk? One person says go right, another person says go left. One person says go up, the other person says go down. And you're like, it can't be both. Understand that there's some stuff that's said to get new people in. There's other stuff where they train, where people actually break it down and say, yeah, that's what we said to get you in, but to really get going, here's what you need to do. So here's what I've learned. In the beginning, I was first told to make a list of at least 100 people. They're like, if you don't have a list of 100, everybody knows 100 people. You can look at your Christmas list, and you can look at your yearbook list, and you can look at the yellow pages. We were taught to get, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, I don't think there's anybody on here young enough. Yeah, nobody here can claim that they don't know what the yellow pages is, because I know most of you, and age group wise. But you talk to new 18 to 20-year-olds, and you're like, blah, 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 the yellow pages. Somebody's like, what's the yellow pages? Is that a .com at the end? Yellow page? Is that a yellow page? Does it come up yellow? Like, what happens there? Is that a social media site? No, it's a big, ugly book that they would drop off on the front porch in a bag. That people would pay a bunch of money for those little ads, right? And what we were taught to do is we were taught to go through that. That was our name jog list. I mean, it was terrible to carry around, right? But we would actually start in the beginning and say, who do you know who's an accountant? Who do you know who's an architect? Who do you know who's a barber? Who do you know who's a chemist? Who do you know who's a, chemistry teacher? Who do you know? And we just walked through all the professions, and that was how we built a list. And here's what I can tell you about that. When you, before technology, it made sense to do it that way. Here's why. Because if I have Sunday, and I just have Sunday to build the business, and I drive over to Bess's house, and I'm trying to get Bess to launch, and I'm trying to get Bess to go, and like when I got started, okay, so I'm just making the comparison here and showing how old I am. When I got started, it cost money for long distance. It cost money for long distance. There was no, like, free call. I mean, I can call Becky Gustafson right now in Canada, and she called me earlier, and there's no long distance fee because you can call Canada. Do you remember back in the day when you called out of the country? I mean, you had to think about, like, hold on, before I talk to them, I need to write down exactly what I'm going to say because, it's going to cost money for every minute. Like, if somebody pauses or somebody has to think, it's going to cost me extra money. So I need to know what I'm going to say in the order I better have all my questions written down. And you're on the phone and like this. Okay, call me back when you know the answers. Click. It wasn't that bad, but you did think about it. And you're like, oh my gosh, are you on the phone with them again? I mean, I remember getting some of those long distance bills in the very, very beginning. Remember when you had free talk and text at night, like from 9 o'clock on? Hey man, call me back at 9. And they call you back at like 8:55, like, what are you doing? You know, it still costs full price, then wait 5 minutes. And then you're trying to say that you do really well in the business. Like, oh, I'm doing financial, I'm doing great. Yeah, everything's good. But call me back in 5 minutes because it's going to cost me an extra 5 cents a minute. I can't do it. We laugh, but the reason it was done that way is because if I drove over to Bess's house on Sunday and I didn't want to call her back throughout the week, I had to get her going as fast as possible, and I had to get everything done in the hour or two that I sat with her. Nowadays, think about how easy it is to get somebody going no matter where they're at in the country. I mean, we can make a phone call, we can make a text message. I booked all my appointments today by Facebook. I never talked to a single person live. Like, it actually is kind of amazing that that's how it works. And it works that well and it works that fast that I was able to contact probably 30-some people in 45 minutes, and I was able to book 6 appointments to talk to people every half hour on the app, every other half hour, starting at 3:30 all the way to 6 o'clock. I have booked tomorrow. Now I have more open times, and hopefully some of these other people get back to me tonight late. I always get messages at like 11 or 12 at night. They're like, hey, just looking at Facebook, I see that you wrote me, can I talk to you tomorrow? And hopefully we'll book the rest of those out. But I had to do it the old-fashioned way and make a list of 100. Here's what I learned from one of the guys that built around the world. He goes, all I want to do is make a list of the top 10. He goes, who are the top 10 people that we need to introduce this to? Isn't that easy? Simple? Anybody could do it. It doesn't seem threatening. You don't need a Yellow Pages book. Like, we used to carry the Yellow Pages book around with us in the car so that way we could pull it. I mean, most people had it. But if I happened to be, I mean, when I first got started, I had that thing in a briefcase, and it looked like I was carrying dead bodies or something. It was just really weird, you know, because we had all these briefcases with all this stuff. Some of it was product, and some of it was paperwork, and we'd have the Yellow Pages in there. And, you know, people were like, what in the world is the Yellow Pages doing? And that was our names jogger. Eventually, somebody thought of a really cool way to, like, consolidate it onto, like, 2 pages, and then it was front and back. But what's easier, doing that or 10? 10, right? Who are the top 10 people that we need to talk to? Now we need a way to contact them. How do we contact them? I've heard so many interesting ways to contact people. Basically what I was told in the very beginning, sort of like make a list of 100, I was told a lot of ridiculous stuff. I was told, just be excited. Okay, that's interesting way to do it. If you're excited, but you're an idiot, now you have an excited idiot. Like, that's not good. Being just excited doesn't necessarily work. Have you ever met somebody that you tell to be excited and they go overboard? They're like too excited and they kind of scare people away. Is the point to scare people away doing this? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I was like, excited doesn't make sense. They said, well, you need to use curiosity. You need to not tell them what it is. It's like, okay, marketing usually means to tell them what it is, and now we're supposed to not tell them what it is. I was like, isn't that double talk? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I was like, I thought the whole point was to tell them what it is. Yeah, but you can't tell them. You have to show them. Okay. So people don't talk on the phone and sell stuff like that all the time. I mean, people buy real estate over the phone. People buy insurance over the phone, right? People buy antiques and cars and furniture and all kinds of stuff over the phone. Like, it happens all the time. No, you have to get in front of them, because the whole process was they were trying to slam people in rather than build a team of people. So what I was taught to do and eventually learned is we're going to make a list of 10 people. Then we're going to create a really easy contact. And I learned the contact from real estate. A lot of you know this. This is the favor script, because you can go at it a couple different ways. You can say, I've got a great business opportunity for you to look like. The moment you say business opportunity to the average person, let's think about how business translates into pictures for the average person. Because you think in pictures, by the way. If you don't know this, you think in pictures. If I say the word Ferrari to you, most people think of a car. And I'll ask everybody here, what color did you think of when I said the word Ferrari? I typically get one of two, red or black, occasionally yellow. But here's a question. What is the symbol on a Ferrari? What is it? What is the symbol on a Ferrari? It's on the front. It's a little emblem on the front. What is it? A lot of people don't know this. What color is it usually? It's usually one of two colors. Always one of two colors. It's either chrome or black. I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe I've seen it yellow once. But no, even on the yellow car, it's black. And that symbol is a stallion, a Ferrari. Dave Roeder got it, black stallion. So when I said Ferrari, you had a picture. Now think about this, and this is pretty much worldwide because I've worked in companies that are international. And I found when you say business opportunity to most people, the very first thing that comes to mind is investment. And when you talk investment to people, they do two things. They think, A, I don't have any money. I don't want to hear about this. B, they evaluate you. Who is the person bringing me this business investment? Is this somebody who knows business? Is this somebody I would trust with my money? Most of us are taught to be very, very cautious with our money and very cautious with who we get that kind of advice from. So you say business opportunity, and typically people think sales, people think investment, people think high risk, high rate of failure. That's what business represents to most people. Ironically, that's what they teach you in school, isn't it? Businesses cost money. Businesses have a high rate of failure. Isn't it funny that they don't teach you about all the successful businesses and the techniques? Like, I've never taken a class or even seen a class on successful techniques to build a business. I've seen managing somebody else's business and being an employee. I've seen project manager. I've seen, accountant. I've seen CPA, managing somebody else's, but not building your own. They teach it. They literally indoctrinate people into fear of business. Why? Because the people who created the school system don't want competition. They want you to work for them. So what we're doing is teaching people to work for themselves, but you have to, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it, you have to trick people into seeing this. And here's the trick. Make it not about them. That's the trick. That's what I learned how to do. Make it not about them. Make it selfish, which is almost the opposite of the industry, but hear me out on this. If I say, Bess, oh my gosh, I saw this business opportunity, you'd be so good at it. Bess would back up. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like, you're trying to come to me with a business opportunity, and you're trying to get my money, and I need to be cautious. I need to put up the wall. I need security. Like, I'll listen, but from a distance. Now, typically, most people are going to start out with excuses. They want to eliminate the fear right away. Well, what is it? Well, what company is it? Is it networking? Is it one of those pyramid things? Is it this? Is it that? All the different things that people say. And what I realized is when I was taught to use the business opportunity, or I have a way for you to make money, an alternative way for you to make money, I never said that because I had friends that did alternative ways to make money. They ended up in silver handcuffs in the back of cars with lights on them. So that's just who I was around when I was growing up. That's why it was very hard for me to come at people with, hey, I've got a business opportunity. They're like, we've got to be very careful, the business opportunities that you've seen. But when it comes to looking at something, I wanted people to look at it without any bias, which is really difficult, right? I wanted something that would work with every age group, every ethnic group. I even wanted it to work in a different language. Something so easy, so simple, I could get anybody to do it. And that was the Faber script. Hey, do me a favor. I want to share with you what I'm doing. So if you run into the right person, you can refer them to me. That's selfish because it's all about you. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Most of our conversations are selfish. Most of our conversations are selfish. Hey, you're not going to believe what happened to me at work. Hey, you're not going to believe what happened to me this weekend. Hey, you're not going to believe the new car I bought. Hey, you're not going to believe the new trip that I'm going on. Hey, you're not going to believe the new whatever you just bought, right? Most conversation is selfish. It's all about you. So that's why when you make it about them, they have all of the, like, it instantly brings up fear. It instantly brings up questions. As opposed to making it all about me, all of a sudden the guard goes down. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll listen. What are you doing, by the way? Because nowhere did I say this is for you. Nowhere did I say you're going to be a customer. Nowhere did I say you're going to get in this business. Nowhere did I say this opportunity is for you. Hey, do me a favor. I want to show you something I'm working on. So if you run into the right person, you can refer them to me. It doesn't even sound like it is for them. So that's why most people are like, oh, okay, sure. Now, next, do you have time to talk right now? Do you have time to talk right now? Now it becomes setting an appointment. So the first is the contact. Do me a favor. Next is setting an appointment. Inviting them to actually look at the information. And then the next is presentation. The presentation. The presentation is basically covering 5 things. It's going to cover the company. It's going to cover the need that you cover, need in the marketplace. It's going to cover the products you have. It's going to cover the compensation, and then the timing or the talent that you're around. Hey, these are all the cool people we work with, and here's a system we use. Each one of those categories has about a half a dozen things. So let's say there's 5 for the company, 5 for the need, 5 for the product, 5 for the compensation, and 5 for the timing. That's 25 points. You should be able to get through this in 10 to 15 minutes. Hey, I just want to tell you real quick about what it is we do. And, you know, this company's been around since, you know, the 50s, so it's over 50 years old. You know, it's done millions and millions. It's actually a billion-dollar company. It's done billions of dollars. They're in over 100 countries in the world. They actually started, it was 2 guys coming out of the military, and they were like, hey, we should do something and build something that, you know, outlasts inflation and outlasts a war and outlasts all this stuff. So they kind of came together and had this idea to put together a company, natural products and different things, and they put it together, and I thought that was a good idea because it's been around forever. Last year, they did about $9 billion. We're one of the top companies in their industry. The need that they actually fill is basically helping people out. You know, in this economy, I found that people are looking for a couple things. I personally was looking for a couple things that they had. Number 1 was making more money. Number 2 was having more time. Number 3 was building some security. And number 4 is like helping people because, you know, so many people have careers and jobs where they make okay money, or maybe they have time, but they really don't help people. You know, they don't contribute to what's going on. So I found that not only do they do that, but they also make convenience. You know, the biggest thing is convenience now. They shipped everything to me rather than me having to go figure it out and go get it. Then it goes down to the products. Here's the product line. Here's the compensation. So I made that up off the top of my head from previous companies I was in. But it's going to sound, did it sound like I was this huge sales pitch, or just that I was telling you about how it worked? Just telling you. So it has an order to it. It has transitions. And all you have to do is have it written out where here's a little bit about the company. Here's a little bit about the, you know, what it is we do and why we do it, right? Why you do what you do is more important than how you do what you do. People will buy in. People will get in more because of why you're doing what you're doing than how you're doing what you're doing. At the end, I say, so basically the company looks for a couple different kinds of people. They look for people who are just customers. They look for reps. And, you know, they're looking for, I always say they're looking for like wholesale agents. You know, this is just somebody who wants to order the product at wholesale and help their friend. So now that you know a little bit about who we are and what we do, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, you kind of shook your head a couple times. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you'll help me out and refer me, or 10, you have interest in what we're doing. Where are you? So the close is not, do you want to do it or not do it? The close is, do you want to refer me, or do you want information about buying this product or joining me? So it kind of goes, again, double talk. It goes against the book, always get a no. Go after the no. I'm not going after, guys, I don't go after no's, and I don't usually get no's, ever. Because my question at the end is, well, do you want to refer me, or do you want to join? If they're like, yeah, it's really not for me, but if I run into somebody, I'll refer you, great. That's not a no. That's, you're going to participate the way I thought you would, which is just refer. I'm not let down. And then here's the goal. The goal is how big can you build a database of people who know what you do so you get referrals every day? Is it possible? Good question, right? Is it possible that over the next 12 months you could build some kind of database where you showed 1, 2, or 3 people a day what you do? Just tell them about it and say, hey, do me a favor, I just want you to know what's going on, so if you run into the right person, you can refer me. And you built a database out of them. Cool. You know, here's people like, well, I don't know how to build a database. Create a group on Facebook and invite them to it. Get their email and build an email list. There's different ways to create that database. Some people have a CRM. That's a customer relationship manager. It's a computer term for a database. Some people have that built into their company. Everybody's a little bit different. I would suggest you building your own database. So in case anything happens, your database is yours. If you compounded that 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years out, if you compounded it 5 years out and you talked about one person a day, let's say 300 people a year, 300 people a year times 5 years is 1,500 people. If you got a 5% return, that means you'd recruit 75 people over the course of 5 years. Not bad, right? Let's say you're really excited and you talk to twice that many and you talk to 600 people. 600 times 5 is 3,000 people with an average rate of return of 5%. 5% of 6,000 is 75. Should be 150. Because we just doubled the number. 150 people. If we talk to 3 people a day, let's say 900 a year, times 5 years, that's 4,500, times 0.05. That's 225 people you'd recruit, personally. Personally. If 5 people on your team did the exact same thing, you'd have 1,000 people on your team. In 5 years, you'd be retired. So again, what you have to do is you have to find something that anybody can do. Find something that's, watch this, that's believable. It's believable. It's possible. I didn't say it would be the easiest thing in the world to complete. It's very simple, but it's not easy to do because you're going to have to do some work to find people, get them on the phone. People aren't going to show up. People are going to say one thing, do another. All that's going to happen. But just a simple process. Make a list of 10 people, teach people how to contact, teach people how to invite, and present the opportunity to them. Ask them where they're at on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I send them the information. The purpose, to me, the purpose of the video, the purpose of anything written, the purpose of literature, magazines, any third-party documentation, the purpose of that is that eliminates the need for a person to be there. If people read everything, or people listen to everything, or people watch everything, and they make their own decision, watch this, then you have people buying in rather than getting sold in. People who buy themselves in stay longer. And people are like, well, I was told just to get people to a video and then get them on the phone with somebody else and close them. That's great if you have somebody amazing above you. But what if you're terrible at that? What if you're not good at it? What if your job is like a friend of mine who's a truck driver who works 13 hours a day, 6 days a week, and he can't answer the phone throughout the day? How is he going to build a business off of 3-way calls when he can't do 3-way calls 6 out of 7 days? You say, well, he can just let his upline do it. What if his upline's already jammed? Who's doing his 3-way calls? But if we use that video, right? If we use that video and everybody goes out and does their own presentation and sends people the video and it's like, look at this, and somebody's like, well, I do have another question. Say, great, I have a different video. Well, I have a different question. I have a different video. I have a video for every question somebody's going to ask. If you want to, this is just me. If you want to get on the phone with my upline and ask them a bunch of questions, sign up. Sign up. One of the top guys that I work with, that was his rule of thumb. He wouldn't actually get on the phone with you until he'd be like, no problem. He's like, I can answer the question you have, but I have got a question for you. If I'm able to answer this question, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Yeah. Do you know which credit card you're going to use? Yeah. So when I call you and I answer this question, if we're all good after that question, I'll have my website open and we'll just go ahead and fill it out and put you in. Now, is that a little pushy and arrogant? Yes, this is a business, guys. You're here to, I hate to break this to some people, but I'm here to make money. It's fun to hang out. The personal development's great in the industry. The mission behind helping people is amazing. But guys, if there's no money being made, the companies would collapse. There'd be no opportunity. And I don't know about you, but my time is valuable. Hopefully your time is valuable. Like when I first got started, my time was not valuable. Why? Because I didn't have anything going on. Maybe watch a movie now and then. I didn't have a lot going on. Now, I have a lot going on. I have a lot of people to talk to. I have a lot of people to see. So, if you're not interested or ready to go, I'm not here to talk about this forever. Now, if it was $10,000 to get started in whatever you're doing, I understand the apprehension. But if it's $100 or $200 or $300, most of us have spent more money on an evening out. Most of us have spent more money on an evening out. Most of us have bought an outfit that costs more than most of the stuff in the business that we've worn once or never worn. You know, especially nowadays. I mean, kids, my niece and nephew were like, I think my nephew wanted some pair of shoes. They were like $240. I'm like, you are 7. What in the world do you need $250 shoes for? That you're going to grow out of next week, right? To look cool in front of your friends. I'm like, trust me, none of your friends will even know you had those shoes in a year, let alone next week. So, just interesting. You have to make it easy. You have to make it simple. And this is stuff that anybody can do. Oh my gosh, the Starbucks one. Yeah. Yeah, people spend $1,000 a year on Starbucks, and then they're like, this is really expensive. Okay. And it just breaks down to people don't know where their money's going. People don't know where their money's going. It's a good excuse, but it doesn't make any sense. Say, that's fine. Is doing what you're doing going to get you to where you want to go? Because you told me you wanted to take vacations, but you also told me you work 6 days a week. You told me you wanted to play golf every day, but you told me you're driving a truck every day, 13 hours a day. You told me you wanted to have time to hang out and find somebody. But your job will never allow that. So what is your plan to get this? I'm not saying you have to do this, but what is your plan? And if you don't have a plan, maybe this is a good one to start until you figure it out. You know, how do you overcome excuses? We're going to get into kind of overcoming excuses. A lot of people are like, well, how do I overcome excuses? We'll talk about that when we get to presenting. That's the 5th class that we do on presentations. Because presentations, that's where you'll hear a lot of those objections. And I've got a really simple way that I overcome a lot of those objections. It's worked for me for years. That's why we've been able to recruit the number of people we've been able to recruit. So far, the company we've been in, we started in the end of March 2019. Our first full month was April. So April, May, June, July. So we're about 15 months in. We're on track. I know this month there's a huge bonus. So we're just about, with the bonus we get and the people we have to put in this month, we'll be right about 30,000 so far, halfway through the year. And is that great? No, it's not awesome. I mean, I'm mad that it's not more. But it's not bad part-time, right? Part-time money, great. Full-time money, not so impressive, depending on where you live, right? But the goal was to basically get to $10,000. We missed it by $31 in May. In June, we didn't do quite as well. Bess, just to kind of clarify, you mentioned 14. 14 was our total income between this and our other business. So we made about $7,500 in both things. Our holistic health company did about $7,500, and then our business did about $7,500. Don't feel bad for us. It was okay. We went down just a little bit. But we also promoted a bunch of people. So we actually did more volume. We made a little bit less, but we had people who made more on our team, which is more important to me. Because if you can help people make more on your team, then you don't necessarily have to work with them quite as much because they know what to do and how to do it. So now you can go work somewhere else. You can help somebody else. You can help more people make more money. So with that being said, that is a wrap. That is, getting started right. So figure out what you want, make a commitment. We talked about the list. We talked about contacting. We talked about setting up an appointment. We talked about presenting. We talked a little bit about this process of, how do we follow up or send people information. We send people information, and the last is we basically counsel. You find somebody above you that's doing better than you are financially. Like you don't want a workout partner. A lot of people are like, well, the best workout partner is somebody who just got in. How is that a good workout partner? A great workout partner is somebody who's a couple levels above you, and they take on a group of 30 and train them to get to where they're at. That person should belong to a group of 30 of a person who's a little bit farther, a couple levels above him. That's how I was taught to build lower level leadership and higher level leadership. Eventually, when you get to the point where you have a bunch of people on your team, what is a bunch? When you get to 100 people, you can pull 20 together. Right? The Pareto principle. When you have 100 people on your team, you can pull 20 together. If you have 2 people on your team and you're trying to pull 20 together, it does not work mathematically. It's impossible. And I know you want to do it right now because you feel like you have some knowledge to share. Get to the point where you have 100 people. And here's the thing. People are like, well, do I have to recruit all 100? Not necessarily, but if you did, you'd have more to choose from. If you did, you'd be a stronger leader. If you did, you'd have more people listening to you. That's what I'm teaching. The goal is actually to get to the point where you have, like a lot of people don't even think like that. A lot of people are like, man, I just hope I find 4 or 3 or whatever it is. What if the goal, when you came in the business, they said your first goal is, by the way, you have to get to 100 people to make any money in this. You have to recruit 100. You personally. Most people will be like, I'm done. I'm out. But what do they say from stage? They do one of those little kind of white lies where they're like, you only need 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or whatever your comp plan is. They tell you this little number. The reality is you'll need more than that. So what I'm trying to do is teach you a process where you can recruit a couple people a month. Guys, a couple people a month. What's a couple? 2 or 3. 2 or 3 people a month consistently. Every month, every month, every month. It seems slow. It seems like it's not going anywhere. It seems like it'll never take off. But by strategically bringing them in, showing them this process, and then plugging them in, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. I'm just going to promote the events. I'm going to promote the events. I'm going to go to the event. I'm going to promote the event. I'm going to go to the event. I'm going to take pictures of the event, and then I'm going to celebrate the event. I'm going to tell everybody, here's what happened, here's why, and then I'm going to start promoting the next event. You take your people and you drive them into these events. And you say, well, we don't have events in our company. Well, that's why you're on this class, right? Drive the people into the events. Let the event teach them, not you. By the way, my people don't listen to me either. People are like, my people just don't listen. I had somebody on my team. They're like, my person doesn't, they only have one. My person doesn't listen to me. I'm like, that's because you're not his boss. Oh, yeah. I'm like, he's independent. He can do whatever he wants to do, including not answer the phone for you. They're like, how do I get him to do something? I was like, that's a better question. I said, who does that person like or respect? They're like, I don't know. I never asked them. I said, wouldn't that be a good question to ask? What if you found out that they really liked or really respected a couple people up the line from us, and you could make a call to them and say, hey, is there any way I could put the two of them in touch? And now that person's working with somebody up the chain of command, and you're able to go off and get somebody else. And they're like, I never thought about that before. See, that's the difference of leadership versus management. Management says, I've got to take care of this. Leadership is, who is the best person to lead this person? My job with my people is to promote them into the events so they can make their own choices and their own decisions. If this works really well, it means the people don't come back to you. They actually start succeeding, and they're like, I don't need your instruction guidance. I'm good. I know what to do because I've gone out and done it. Trial and error. I know what to do. I know how to teach it. Now we're all plugging into something bigger. With that, that is a wrap. I'm going to turn this over to Bess. Thank you so much. And we will go over questions and takeaways here at the end. So at the end of this, we actually do takeaways. What did you like best? What did you get out of this? So if you're taking notes, that's great. Something to remember. And now I'm going to turn it over to Bess.
Cool. I liked all that a lot, Jeff. The kick that I get out of seeing a business like yours grow exponentially is that it's like doubling a penny every day. I think after a month you have $1 million or something like that. You know, it's just that, yeah, it starts out small, and you're going to start out small, and then it grows a little bit. Oh, big deal, we just increased, $200, $300, $400 this month or whatever. But then you keep letting that build and build and build, and pretty soon you've got thousands, or it surprises you and jumps up. But don't count on it staying there, so keep building. Oh, always keep building. And I don't think it was aggressive at all or mean at all for that upline to say, I'll only talk to you if you're going to be ready to go after I answer all your questions. That's just screening people, because you're not obligated to talk to the looky-loos. You're not obligated to service them or spend time with them. I like screening people and seeing who it's going to be worth putting your precious time and energy in. Okay, we have just, you just heard from Jeff the best, easiest, simplest way that I know to get your person started. And of course, we know that you want to get yourself started right these ways first, that you do this. And if you do want your team to listen to you, one way is that you put this all into action. You be a demo, you be a role model, and they will look to you, because people look, or should look, to who has done what they want to do. So, we have compiled this Quick Start Basics. We've compiled these tools, these real simple tools for you, including an agent profile, which is how you get people started fast. It's a questionnaire to take to your new person. Of course, use that on yourself first. And then if and when you get team members, then use that for them. It's called the Agent Profile, how to get people started fast, ask them the right questions so that you get to know them. And this is in a page of tools that I put together called the Quick Start Basics for Members. You can find the link to that website page in every email that I send out, and in the first top post in our Facebook group, the MLM Millionaire Academy group. So I have another fun thing that I put in there, and that was ABC. You know, in this class we do ABC. A, we attend these core trainings, attend the 10 core, the class that you're on tonight. We attend the Quick Start Basics class. B, we build, and that means do presentations at least 2 a day to build your team. And C, core, commit to do each of the 10 core that you just heard Jeff go through. Okay. I recently attended a summit that Eric Worre put on. Eric is a friend and the #1 top teacher in all of network marketing. It's just always right on. And even though I don't agree with 100%, I probably agree with about 98% of what he teaches and says. So I wanted to present to you what applied to tonight to getting people started right. And first of all is an overview. About 70% of the people that on your team are going to be consumers, not enrollers, not recruiters. But that's not bad, as we've talked about, because these are the people who use the products, and they will produce 70% of the income on your team. So this is not bad. 20% will be social enrollers and probably over their lifetime enroll 1 or 2 people. 5% are going to end up enrolling over their lifetime 3 to 5 people. Isn't that really low? They mostly sell and service customers. But 3% will be what we call somewhat leaders, and they're going to recruit 6 to 9% over their 6 to 9 people over their lifetime. 2% are going to be the super recruiters, and those are the people who recruit 10 or more people over the course of their lifetime. 27 is the average of this 2% group, and they recruit 70% of all the people in their company. So when you get a new person started right, you can ask them, do they, which of these groups do they want to be in? Do they want to be in that 10%, that 2%? And you can ask them, how long do you want it to take you to get to that 2%? You can look for the key performers in your group and say, let me help you get into this group. You can offer special incentives and awards and all that for the special people in your group. And if you have 100 people on your team, that would be 2 people that are likely to be doing that 2% or be super recruiters. You can spot them and work with them. If you have, that's why you want to get people started right, because you don't want to miss helping these 2% people develop their real destiny, their real potential. If you have 1% in your team doing what the 2% should be doing, then you're going to be sinking. If you have 2% doing it, you're going to be stable. And if you have 3% doing what that 2% should be doing, then you're going to have growth over time. And if you have 4% doing what those 2% should do, then you have momentum. So that's why you want to get your people started right and give them every chance to do that. Not hold their hand and not beat them, but do the things we just talked about tonight. Be a role model yourself and then show your people how to do this right. And the favor script and the 10-minute presentation are the best ways that I know. It's simple too. Like Jeff said, you just text 10 of your best people to start out, and there they've got their business. It's simple to start, and it's the easiest way. The question again, here's Eric's take about the customer or distributor idea. Everything Jeff said I totally agree with, and just another perspective on this is that Eric said that research has shown that people either join for the product and stay for the opportunity, or vice versa. And that percentage is about half. It's about 50% of the people join for the product and stay for the opportunity, about 50% the other way. The advantage of getting people emotionally attached to the product is that they stay. It creates that residual income for you, and it creates that continuity. Angel Fletcher commented on that. She said, well-served customers make the best distributors. However, as Jeff said, none of the top recruiters got there, top earners in network marketing got there just by focusing on the product. You can just do the math and figure that out. But that's what it takes for the residual income. It's just a matter of figuring the math that you cannot do all the selling yourself. You need to recruit people to do the selling. You would just burn out trying to sell a lot of products, so you need to recruit people to sell it. So, but we do want to see the wisdom of people who love the product and use it becoming distributors. And of course, make sure that it stays legal by focusing on the product. So, people in network marketing, you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with these qualities. This applies to you as the distributor, but also then you can turn this around and rate your team too, or somebody who looks promising. This is how you can tell if they're promising enough to work with. So rate yourself first. Number 1, that you are independent versus needy. You're going to be proactive. You're going to find your own answers. You're going to do your best before you ask for help. But then ask for help. Then that's what the help is for, when you've gone as far as you can. But do not be lazy. Do not ask them to find the answers for you that you could be finding yourself. Don't waste their time, your upline or company. Number 2, you're a problem solver. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 with these things. That's the most important skill, actually, in business, is problem solving. And the bigger the problem, the more you get paid. Number 3, you can find books about all these, I'm sure, personal growth books. Number 3 is be consistent. Eric cited his own example. He said he's made about $15 million in network marketing when he was in a company, and he said that would have been easily double that if he had been consistent. But what he did was he would rally everybody up for a few weeks and get them going on on something, and then they would do that, and then he'd just disappear for a few more weeks. So that is his style. He goes in bursts. But if he would have been consistent and stayed in touch with the people, he says he could have doubled what he made. That's a $15 million mistake, you guys. We can learn from this. Number 4, have a big vision and the ability to communicate it. And the vision that we want to communicate is, there's this promised land, there's this better way, there's this vision, and we can get there together. Let's make it happen. So like Jeff said, people are going to follow your why more than your how, and they will join you more than the company or the product. And they will always be asking themselves, can I make more money with this person? Can they get me to where I want to go? So, they hook your wagon to your energy and follow you as a leader. So do you have that? Do you have that big vision and the ability to communicate it? And a confidence in yourself, right? First, you have to have that before somebody else is going to have it in you. So you have to commit to yourself first. And number 5, create action, create results. Put your vision into action and demonstrate that. So these are the things that you can rate yourself on 1 to 10, and then rate your team on that. Or if you're looking at somebody worthy of my help and working with me, you can rate them on these things. Again, they are independent, problem solvers, consistent, big vision, and they create action. The $1 Million Earners Network Marketing have at least 25 of these people on their team that meet these criteria. So this is for maybe another class. Maybe we'll have another Inside Circle class in this school on leadership for those who develop teams. But right now, just a real quick little recipe for that is you want to become a leader, you identify 25 of these people on your teams and you mentor them. Leaders increase the right activity on their team. And so that is really a whole another level in class and set of skills, which maybe we'll have the fortune of working together with you at some point. Okay, so what you want to do is take people on your team, help them get started, right? Take them from dependence to independence as soon as possible. Say, my goal with you is to get you independent of me as soon as possible. Is that a common goal that we have? Is that a reasonable thing? And they'll say yes. Tell, show, try, and do. And the show part, probably going to spend a lot of time going back to that and showing people. Tell them, show, try, and then do it without me. That's how to get them independent as soon as possible. And you work with the ones the most who are willing, coachable, and hungry. I like grateful people too. I think they're coachable and willing. But I look for gratitude personally. I find that I'm drawn to the people who have gratitude because I know they're going to be coachable and willing and usually hungry. Okay, you can give your beginning people simple things to do and sort of give them the test. Are they going to follow that? Okay, like take the product for 7 days and then tell me how you feel afterwards and document how you feel and let me know that. Or watch this video and tell me what you like about it. So you can kind of test people out. Are they good people for you to work with? And you give them simple things to start out and do they do that? And then you can give progressively harder things. But if they don't pass that test, go back to the simple, you know, because everybody's at their different level. And like Jeff said, you're not their boss. It's all of their own business. And they can do it your way, but their way. But it's fastest path to success is to follow, to model after somebody who's done what you want to do. So again, if you're demonstrating a successful leader, then that's most of it right there. Here are 10 attributes of the super successful. Again, you can kind of measure yourself against these. These kind of fall into personal growth, but good to look at when you're getting yourself started right or help somebody else. The super successful, 10 attributes. They know why they're doing it, and it's beyond money. It's always to create an impact or help people. Or it's their purpose. So they know what that is. Number 2, they expect success. They don't hope for it or wish. You can hear it in their talk, can't you? You know, I'm going to get there. I know it. You know, I'm going to get to the top or die on the way. I'm just going to get there. They expect it. Number 3, they have a burning desire, a really intense, incredible burning desire for it. Number 4, they have an unshakable belief in their team, in the company, in the system, the systems, like we teach here, in the tools, and in themselves. Unshakable belief. Number 5, they treat this like a business, not a hobby. They set hours, they're serious. They don't disrespect the opportunity. Number 6, they have clear written goals. And when they reach one, what's the next goal? Because they're addicted to progress. It can be actually a letdown to reach a goal unless you okay, what's the next one on the horizon here? Number 7, they team with people who are good at what they are not. And that's where you can delegate. You know, if you're not good at technical stuff, then don't do the like Jeff was saying, don't do the technical stuff. Do what you're good at and delegate or outsource or just skip the rest. And be with people to push you to faster progress. Number 8, enroll constantly. That is the same as our core number 5, which is present daily. Daily, and not once a month or not once a year. Ideally would be 1 or 2 a day. Now, some people are very good at being consistent like that, and some people like to take little bursts. Of the personality, they'll do a burst and then they'll take a little break, and do a burst and a little break. As long as you're consistent in the burst, that's okay, I think. But do not, the whole point is do not lean on your team. Bring in new people all the time, because the new growth stimulates the old, and you're also leading by example. Instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to sit back now and be the boss of you slaves, and you guys are going to do all the recruiting. Right? That will not work. You have to be in the trenches working with them and showing them all the time. And they need to be shown regularly. You need to stay current, and you'll have fresh stories and fresh energy to tell, and you'll be real attractive. Number 9 attribute of the super successful, they're continually developing themselves. And that was what our core number 3 is about in here, and that's the personal development. So they're never too good to learn, never too good to be coached. And in fact, the most successful people in any business have a coach. You know, whether it's athletes or acting or business or anything. You know, top coaches have coaches. Because somebody can see stuff they can't, and you can get there quicker than if you try to do it alone. So they're continually developing themselves. And you guys in this class, that's what you're doing in here. Number 10 attribute of the super successful is persistence. And this is the grit. You can't get rid of them. They just stick. And that is what I have to share tonight. I'll share some more on other cores that it applies to. So now I think we're ready for the takeaways. So get your favorite takeaway ready for when Jeff will call on you, and we'd love to hear that.
Awesome. Very good. So here we go. We're going to go down this list. and the first person that I saw on was Dave Roeder. So, Dave, you want to start us out? Take us away? Take it away?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe?
So, first, thank you for totally reinvigorating and Beth's talk was just like, okay, your her intro of you was just like, okay, I've been talking to some other people, and they're like, well, this program is this much money, and this program is that much money, and they'll get you to success within a year, right? Yours is, I spent $20 and then some leads, okay? So, thanks for that. And then realizing that I didn't know that the class changed from Tuesday or Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's something possible.
Okay.
And then going back to the leads that I was doing before I bought the Apache ones, I'm going to try those and see what happens. But so tonight, my name is Dave from California, and my takeaways were a page full of stuff. There was a lot I didn't get because I couldn't catch it all. And I think you need make a list of the certain qualities of the recruiter and percentage of people. But have to have a contact system. And all successful people lead with the business. You know, when I was starting out, they said, lead with the product. It was a question, lead with the product or the business? And I said, exactly. Follow their lead. But the business. Kind of trick people into seeing the opportunity, which was interesting. So yes, you're selfish, but not selfish, because you're really sharing it with people, but you just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Now that you know, you're interested or not.
Coming from a selfish point of view, yeah.
Yeah. It's selfishly unselfish or unselfishly selfish, however you want to take it like that. But yes. So need to make it easy and simple to, what I got was replicate. So like the leads and the evaluation form. It's simple to do. It's replicatable. And if somebody doesn't have the money to start and they want to get going, here's $20. Get going. It's like $20 is nothing versus $10,000 or $100,000 or $1,000. So I like that. Recruit 100 people. Once you recruit about 100 people, then you can take 20 of them together and do a group training. And because a few people won't do anything by themselves. So that's good. And then you can create that Facebook page. And then I couldn't catch up with all that I think Bess was saying is the 70% will be product users, 20% will be social recruiters, 5%, 3%, 2%. And I got the 2% will be super recruiters. And the question to ask the people is like, so how long do you want to, I think it was, how fast do you want to get to the 2%? I think that's what it's more about. And then like 50% will come for the product and stay, and the other 50 will stay for the business, and vice versa. And my goal is to get you like to the 2% or wherever they say they're at as soon as possible. To be independent as soon as possible. That's my takeaway for today. And I think that I'd like to have that. I don't know where you found that. I know you wrote it down from Eric Worre's best, but the 70%, 20%, 5%, 3%, the 2%, and some of the 10 qualities of a leader that you put them down. But I know we go over those things too. But what Eric Worre was saying, I know they're similar to what John Maxwell says. That's why we go over the 10 core commitments. That's all.
Awesome. And we'll get to questions here at the end as well. Next up, I have Becky.
I'm Becky from Lacombe, Alberta, Canada, and so much good stuff here, as usual. I like that goal, how can you build a database, where you showed 1, 2, or 3 people a day what you do, and it compounded over 5 years. If you showed 1 person a day, you'd have 1,500 people, and that would mean that you would recruit out of that 1,500, 75 people. If you doubled that, 2 people a day, that would be 600, and that would be 3,000 people, and 5% of that would be 150 people recruited. 3 people a day, 900. So that would give you 225. And if 5 people on your team did the same thing, you would grow exponentially. And I like this number 5 on the list of things to do. If you find somebody a couple levels above you doing really well and have them teach you and the people on your team, that's the way to make it grow. And then they find people who are a couple levels above them, and the thing just keeps expanding. And I like the thing also. If you send information, that eliminates the need for a person to be there. And because there's a video for every question people ask. And from Bess's, I really like the ten attributes of super successful people. Well, actually, I also thought it was good to rate yourself of 1 to 10. Independent versus needy, and problem solver, be consistent, have a big vision, and the ability to communicate it, and confidence in yourself, and put your vision into action. It's very hard to choose the most important thing. You guys, I think everything you teach is important.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Next up, I have Steve.
Hello, this is Steve Redden from Bexley, West Virginia, and my takeaway for tonight is to know exactly what you want and what it takes to get it. Where you were saying you got to be clear on your goals and not cut corners and be so general. Because, people want more money. Well, there's a few dollars, that's more money. So it's not detailed enough. Or your reasons why you got to do certain tasks and the outcome of it. And I think it's really important information people take for granted or don't even think about. And what Bess was saying, I like the 10 attributes she was saying. Like, one that stood out just in the start is to expect success, and that you can do it, which builds confidence. And just know what you, it goes along with knowing exactly what you want to do and how to do it. It kind of goes in trade with each other. If you don't know what you want to do, and you're like walking around with a blank slate, you got no direction, no goal, no map. So that's what I got out of tonight's reminder of, just got to get more focused.
That is good. Bess has a question here. Hold on. Got two things going on. Yep, John jumped off, but he said, oh, guess I've, okay, gotcha. Awesome. Steve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute everybody and see, do you have any questions right away before we open it up?
Okay, I'll go first. So how to handle, which you probably just need a refresher on this topic of how to handle people when you show them your product or service, but they pass you up like, granted, yeah, you show them what you got, what you do, what you offer, but they're like, okay, we'll pass. Is there much you can do about that, or just accept it and go on?
So maybe I'm fuzzy. What is the question?
Well, like when somebody basically says no, or I'll pass to your product or service, is there a...
That's it. You're good. We're done.
Place to move on.
Yeah, they're like, okay, it's not for them. That's fine. Right? I mean, how do you convince somebody that, like, I kind of look at it like you offer somebody a beer, and they're like, no, I'm not interested. Oh, okay, would you like water? No, I'm good. Would you like a soda? No, I'm good. How do you get them to drink something? Do you light them on fire? Like,
right.
It just, like, you just move on, right? It's like that person is not the right person. There is no perfect scenario, and I guess there's two ways to look at it. Some people try to find some angle to manipulate, maneuver, or force that person to join. Your other way to do it is just be like, okay, that person's not the right person. I'll just go find somebody else.
Right.
That's really your two options. And what I found is the people who try to look for the angle to try to get people never win. They never win.
That's kind of what I was thinking, go to the next person is basically just move on.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Not everything is for everybody, and not everybody's for everything, but here's something you have to also keep in mind is timing. Maybe you caught them at the wrong, maybe they're like, now isn't good. I'm not saying never, and here's the thing. A lot of people, if timing isn't good, they're not going to say timing isn't good. They're going to say, nah, it's not for me, I'm just not interested. Later down the road, the key is if you become successful, they're like, dang, Steve made it. Now all of a sudden they come at you asking you, hey, how's that thing going? Now you have to realize some people will just do that because they're trying to make fun or they're trying to keep conversation open. They're not actually interested. So you have to kind of read into what are they asking me? Are they just being friendly or do they really want to know? And sometimes you can just be asking that.
Yeah.
Are you just being friendly or do you actually have interest? No, I'm just being friendly. Okay, cool.
Jeff, I really like your beer analogy because if I offered somebody beer and they said, no, thank you, I wouldn't sit there trying to talk. Part of it is respect, and yet I forgot that yesterday I was talking with my sister about a class that I thought she would really like, and she goes, no, it's not for me. And I said, but, did you realize it has this and this and this, and I cared about her, and so I wanted to know if she goes, it's not for me. And I said, excuse me, I understand now, that you don't want to hear any more about it.
Yeah, and sometimes we're so focused on them wanting it that we forget. Oh, yeah.
We think it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Surely, if they only understood this, then
If
they
we only knew.
they would be right in it. Yeah, surely.
Yeah, whether it's something they can use or not, they just, as a habit, I'll just pass. They're not going to use it or not, I'll do it without.
Well,
I mean, always be nice, always be professional. We'll be like, okay, no problem.
So I'm like, all I'm doing is offering. Just if I don't ask, I'll not know, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I usually do it. Like, if I don't offer to somebody, I won't know if they'd want to take the opportunity or the offer or not. So that's pretty much what I was thinking, the same thing.
you know, one of the things that I learned a while back from Kim Klaver's book is some people complain just to complain, and some people complain because they want a solution. So that's kind of what I lead into sometimes when I'm talking to people too. It's not so much as they're complaining, and because some people see me they see my weight loss progression. They see me at my biggest and my lowest. And they say, congratulations, you're losing a lot of weight. That's great. They didn't ask me how I did it, so I don't lean into that. So that's part of what I've learned from network marketing, and that they didn't ask the question, so don't give them the solution. It's like, oh, well, do you want to know how I did it? Oh, my God, this guy's so... It's like, yeah, this guy really helped me. He's really amazing. Leave it like that. One of the things also I learned from the audio, I'm not sure who, Bob Berg maybe? Or no, what's his name? He's one of the old timers in network marketing. He's been doing it for like 40 years. I get his email.
Quite a few.
I know. Anyways, he said, like, well, if you really want something, let me know. So it's the rejection-free process. So if you want better health, let me know. So I had a friend today, we were talking a little bit about, he's a plumber and came over to fix something, so we were talking a little bit about health and how we need better. So I said, if you're open to learning about better health, let me, well, first I asked the question. He said, no, I'm okay. I said, all right, great, cool, but if you ever want to have better health, let me know.
I like it.
I'll be here.
I like it. Because if they don't have a question, they can't eat the answer. They're not hungry. I like that. If you ever.
Yeah. I can't think of the guy's name. He sends me emails. And I went to one of his seminars. Little old guy. Little short old guy.
Oh, Tom Schreider?
Yeah.
Tom Schreider?
Yeah. Yeah, that's who it is.
There's a lot of 40-year-old veterans. A few.
Yeah, but short old is, you know who it is. Yeah. Big Al Schreider, right? Not his name. Big Al's not his name, but that's how he calls himself. Big Al. So do you have that best? Do you have that, or can you put in the group the percentage?
Yeah, I'll take a little photo of my notes and I'll put it in there. But also, that's what the replays are good for too, because I probably say more in the replays than are in my notes here.
Yeah.
So, but I'll put a screenshot in the group. Yep, I will.
Right.
I know you like to see things in writing. It's easier to see that way, right?
Yeah. There was actually a post I was going to put and I took a picture. It was I took a picture of a screenshot the company put up. My last company years ago that was 85% success comes from the mind and 15% is actually actions. So people think it's so hard when it's really the mind that's telling them it's hard. And really, it just like anything, you learn how to drive a car, it takes practice. So, but
I just want to point something out real quick here before we close. And you know, we're talking about leading with the business or the product. And if you notice that the 10-minute presentation covers both, so you don't even have to worry about that. It's the direct method if the person is expressing something like they have a health need or something like that, or a financial need, then you could choose to lead with the business or product. But our 10-minute presentation for the favor script or for anything covers both. It takes care of it for you.
That's what I like about this presentation. And they cover all the personalities. Oh, that was a question I've been wanting to ask.
Okay.
You know, when you talk about going a little bit faster than in the presentation than they are. So for me, what I do, and give me your thoughts on this, is when I go over the benefits, I go over fairly quickly. But everything else, like the very beginning, when I just describe what it is, you know, and people, kinds of people that use it, I kind of just explain it in a normal fashion, but professional. But then when I get into the benefits, I go, roll it off in a tongue.
Yeah. Here's the stuff that it covers and helps with. It helps with this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's fine because most of us are used to listening to, like, if you're mimicking what people normally see in, you know, television, radio ads, you know, that's pretty common.
Yeah. Do a 30-second commercial.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to come across like sham wow guy, but, you know, at the same time, you want to make your point.
I know for me, sometimes when people talk faster, some things, you hear certain things more. I hear certain things more than if people talk slowly, because all of a sudden something stands out and it seems more important than everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, how people catch you. Tonality, the speed at which you talk and the tone at which you talk and the volume at which you talk is more important than the words itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A dog knows that. A dog will respond to your tone and your emotions, even though it doesn't understand your words.
So how come if you tell the dog to come, they come?
You can be enthusiastic, and they will be happy too. Contagious.
Sit, Ogu, sit. Good dog.
That's right.
I have a question for Dave. If no one else has another question.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, in the beginning, you mentioned that you had 700 leads and nothing happened. And I feel kind of compelled to ask you a couple questions about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. When you say nothing happened, you mean no presentations resulted from it? You could not get a presentation?
No, when I say nothing happened, nobody signed up. I got a few presentations, but not much.
Okay.
Only a handful, maybe. And then when I was doing my other ones, I seemed to have more activity. So, but because I bought 10,000 of them, I didn't want to waste them.
Okay. Jeff is the expert on leads and teaches the leads class, and I just wondered, is that possible with some leads and you just keep going till you find the right batch or the right source, and that's not abnormal?
Yeah, that's not abnormal at all. I mean, it does happen. I mean, obviously, you don't want it to be like that, but especially when you're first getting in. And the Apache leads are very generic. You know, it's just like, hey, are you interested in anything, as opposed to, hey, are you interested in health and wellness, or hey, are you interested in real estate? Those are targeted leads. Mm-hmm. So the more targeted you are, the less you go through to get kind of a reaction. But when you're like, hey, are you interested to be interested, it's like you do have to go through a lot more.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because you're almost having to screen the people because they're like, I don't even remember I filled something out. You know, I mean, you get, some of that.
And then here's a question, is something maybe you can help me out with. A handful of times people are really not excited, they're just mundane. It's like, oh, just another day, and like Eeyore kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's most people.
And so what I sometimes do is in the questionnaire, right? I forgot what you call it, but the
pre-qualification.
Yeah, the pre-screening process. That's like, have you ever done sales before? And
that's what you're trying to screen them. Yeah, you're trying to screen them and be like, hey, this is who we're looking for. I mean, if somebody has a personality of a rock, they're probably not going to do well.
Yeah.
Not that they can't. It's like, hey, do you have a dream, want, void? What does get you excited? Nothing. Okay, well, you're probably not but the funny thing is I've recruited somebody like everything they say is just, it's okay. How's your day? It's okay. What's going on? Nothing.
Not much.
Same thing happens every day.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, I'm building 3 MLMs. I was like, wow.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how that's possible, but okay.
I barely do one.
Their team is probably just like them, and they think that's great.
Well, I mean, guess what the main question is? I just don't understand why I can't get anybody started. So what they're doing is they keep signing up in new things, thinking that it's the thing that's the problem, not them.
Well, I did learn from my accountant that if you haven't been successful in a particular business for 5 years, go on a new company.
Yep.
Because then you get all those tax write-offs all over again.
Yeah.
But if you're stuck in one for over 5 years, it becomes a hobby and you don't get those tax write-offs, those tax benefits. Whatever they are, talk to your accountant about that. But
yeah, if you're not making money by that point and profitable.
Right. If you're not successful, and whatever tax deductible deductions that you can get, and you're not successful, jump to another company that you resonate with and start over, and hopefully you'll be successful there.
A friend did that. She was really a hard worker and just couldn't quite get this one product off the ground. Just wasn't quite right, It was a new company. It just wasn't quite right. And she got into an older health company, established one, and now within a year she's one of the top earners of the company.
That happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep, beautiful to see hard work go into the right. And Steve has a question here in the chat.
What is this?
Apache doesn't have targeted leads, so do they have any categories at all, or is it?
I mean, you can do male versus female, but I think that's about it.
Wow.
Who does targeted leads?
Got to look online. Everybody's different depending on what you're looking for.
Oh.
But you go from paying, 0.03 cents to paying $3 a lead.
Whoa.
very quickly. It's $3 to $10 once you start. The more targeted and the better qualified, they'll reach closer to $10 a lead.
Wow. Big
That's
difference.
not uncommon.
Because you're saving all that time and energy finding new people.
Mm-hmm.
Using it for selling. That was my takeaway from the leads class this afternoon.
Up to $3 a lead is a big jump.
Say that again. $3 a lead. What?
That's a big jump, ain't it, in the cost?
Yeah, I mean, but real estate leads. Like I know a guy who was he was at $3,500 a month for real estate leads. Didn't close any.
Ooh.
Had to sign a 3-month contract, went over $10,000. They never closed a single deal.
Why was that? Inexperienced selling?
The leads they said were terrible. They were just not that good, but they had great salespeople who sold people into programs. So a lot of times that's what it is. What I'm doing is I'm training people. Trying to think of it like this: it's like if you can get through 10,000 leads and you only get one person or two people out of it, that training is worth more than, and it comes from, I think it was Bruce Lee said, I fear a man who practiced one kick 10,000 times than a guy that knows 10,000 kicks.
Right.
So the work it takes to go through those 10,000 leads to get good at it, by the time you get good at it, I could literally never train you again. But if you got through those 10,000 and you know what to do, you know what to do in every situation. From then on, you'd be able to do this without effort. It would be effortlessly to do it the faster you go through them. So like a lot of people will, I only want to text 10. I only want to text 20. I mean, what if the business said, look, you got to go through 10,000 people a month? A month. What are the numbers? How many people do you have to go through a day? I think, what is that, 300 a day? 10,000 divided by 30 days is 333 a day. So you have to do 150 in the morning and 150 in the afternoon, or afternoon and evening. If that's what you had to do every single day, that would be what a professional would do in any other industry to launch it off the ground. I mean, think if every one of us had spent $10,000 opening our business, that's what you'd go do. But since it's $100 and it really doesn't matter, we're somehow hoping and wishing that the 10 worthless contacts that we talk to are going to turn into $10,000, and it just doesn't work like that. No business works like that.
So it's a cheap school, right?
Right. It's the school of hard knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically what you're having to go through. That's why, Tony Robbins said you should go, if you want to be amazing in sales, go door to door for 2 years. If you go door to door for 2 years and you're still okay 2 years, like you haven't ran yourself off the road or slept in for good or whatever, if you can make it through those 2 years, you just become so good in front of people that now you can take that skill and talent anywhere. He said it's worth more than a 4-year degree.
Because the rich work to learn, not for money.
Yep.
That what you learn is actually worth more than the money, and here you can do it with these leads or $10 or whatever without paying $10,000 or $70,000 getting into a student loan debt. Cheap school.
113.
I get it. I'm getting it more now.
You know what I mean? If you had to do it every month, what if you had to do it every 2 months and you had to go through 150 people a day? It's possible. I mean, it'll take an hour or two to text that many people, but it's possible. And if you went through, I mean, think about the numbers there, 10,000, 12 months, that's 60,000 people that you'd go through. I mean, if you got a 0.03% return, that's 1,800 presentations.
How many leads would you say that you've gone through, Jeff? Roughly.
Total ever?
Yeah.
I mean,
in your life.
I mean, it's too big. I don't know. I mean, because I also look at it. I've been in multiple companies. I also have the leads that I've done in real estate and financial services stuff, and then the leads that I've gone through. I can't even tell you how many leads I've gone through just with the holistic health business. I mean, our database is now over 5,000. People that have entered in, that doesn't count all the people we've talked to. So it's just thousands and thousands and thousands. Which, is why it becomes easy, because I've been able to do it in so many different areas.
You're getting rich in your bank account of experience.
Yeah, so that way you can walk in anywhere and be like, this is basically, like when I hear somebody talk about, oh, this isn't working or that isn't working, I'm like, oh, well, I do it like this. For instance, I'm recruiting a guy tomorrow that put 1,100 people, I think I said this earlier, like 1,100 people on the team last time. He's just finally signing up and coming on. He's buying a couple different products that we have. So that one deal tomorrow is worth $1,100 in commission in about a 15-minute. Now, I've talked to him for a year. He's finally ready because of everything that's going on. He was telling me about his business and the way that it runs, and the entire time I'm like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing, like, that's how I'm thinking. Now, I didn't say all that because that wasn't my place at the time, and he wasn't asking me as a consultant. He was just like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and this is this, and I was like, oh, okay. But, like, I could see how to build it, to where you need to get to, but some people just aren't willing.
Hey, you've heard of those texting programs where you can text a lot of people at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Would that work for these leads?
I haven't found it. Somebody tried it and then had 60 people try to all call them at the same time. I was like, great. You send out 3,000, and now all of a sudden you have 60 people calling you back. How are you going to do that?
Right.
I think that's really good when you have a completely automated system. If you're buying leads of people looking for widgets, and you sell widgets, and you set up the link and say, hey, if you're looking for a widget at a 30% discount, here's the link, and you can send that to 10,000, 20,000 people, and they go through the funnel and buy the widget. You don't recruit people into this based on they're looking for a widget. Everybody's looking for something slightly different. You're building a team of people. That would be the same thing if a real estate company just put out there and said, join the real estate company, we're really never going to talk to you. It just doesn't happen like that. There's always that person there, and that's the team building aspect of it. Man, I've got a couple quotes. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but Maxwell had a couple of quotes that were just so good.
Yeah. Well, because LinkedIn has I shouldn't say LinkedIn has it. There is a program designed for LinkedIn that can text, or not text, but send out X amount of connection requests a day.
Yep. I mean, there's auto dialers, there's all kinds of stuff, but that's great. How are you going to teach that to somebody else?
Yeah.
So then it becomes the duplication factor of it.
Right.
You can do it, but you don't have anybody on your team that can duplicate what you're doing.
Right.
Therefore, it worked, but it's not going to replicate.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach one of my members how to use LinkedIn, and there's actually a lot to it. When the leads is a lot easier. And it's good practice.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
All right, guys, it's about 11. I'm going to go grab food. Got to get to the gym.
Again, you just ate.
What happens?
That
eat at 7,
that
eat at
concept,
7, eat at 11. Yep.
that concept that I was just mentioning about learning, working to learn instead of for money, comes from the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, especially chapter 2, and then later on in the book, there's 2 chapters in there that are like, wow, I read this 20 years ago, and I knew it in my head, but now I'm starting to get it and put it more into practice, so that might be a good review.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Awesome.
I belong to a book club, free book club, if anybody wants to know about that, just message me.
Reading would be a good thing to review.
Yeah, I don't eat pizza usually, Steve. But I like it. I just don't eat it a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to click